Most of us will have seen this by now, but Julia Quinn has come out with a statement about Francesca and Michaela, who was once Michael in the book when he was wicked. Not only does she say that she is very well aware of everyone's concerns with this gender swap at the end, she also makes it expressly clear that she had long, lengthy discussions with Jess Brownell about this change and making sure that it would still stay true to the story. And in the end, Julia Quinn signed off on this. A major thing that people keep bringing up when they watch the scene at the end when Francesca first sees Michaela is that Francesca's love for John immediately disappeared. And whether or not this is actually something that can genuinely happen, it isn't the case. Julia Quinn herself says here, "I made it clear that it was extremely important to me that Francesca's abiding love for John to be shown on screen. When I wrote When He Was Wicked, I actually had to fight to leave in the first 4 chapters, which established that love included. My publisher was worried that writing about Fran's love for John would take away Michael's role as the eventual romance novel hero." But she says that Francesca loving John and being in love with John first is actually what establishes that her relationship with Michael later on and makes it so strong. Because Michael has known John his whole life. They've grown up together, and Francesca has been married to John for 2 years in the book, essentially, and then she loses him. But they have both grown to love him deeply, and so they have these feelings of shared guilt that eventually bring them together because they're the only 2 people in the world who truly understand what the other is going through to some degree. And I think it's also important to note that we get more of John in the show than we ever got in the book, and we are going to get more of John in the show as it progresses. I think what we need to remember is mainly 2 things, and that is 1, that having attraction to another person while married to someone else is not immediately disregarding that person. We're all human, we all feel things, it's the acting on it and the progressing with that feeling that affects a relationship. And 2 is what Benedict said in season 3 of Bridgerton, which is love is not finite. There are many different ways that you can express love and feel love and have love. And I think Francesca having 2 great loves of her life is an incredible way to show that people can move on and grow and heal even after immense grief. And I like that we are also getting the chance to see this almost through Violet's eyes as well. There is not just one true love for everyone. Oftentimes you have multiple loves throughout your life. And for a show like Bridgerton, which is inherently a romance happily ever after show, which should by nature have a core romance that ends happily ever after and then you never see them again, it's one great love. It's nice to see that they are expanding out of that and bringing a more human nature to it. I think the most important thing what Julia Quinn says is right at the bottom here. "I am grateful for your understanding and touched by your deep commitment to the characters of the Bridgerton world. I ask that you grant me and Shondaland team some faith as we move forward. I think we are going to end up with 2 stories, one on page and one on screen, and they will both be beautiful and moving. We have long since established that the Bridgerton show is not the same as the books. Some people have been calling it a fan fiction of the books, and I think that's quite an apt description of it. It is taking the heart and the core of the story and turning it into something else. But that something else is more inclusive and more diverse. And I am not by any means claiming that Bridgerton is the best portrayal of representation and diversity in the world. It has a lot to do and work on. It is by no means the best show ever showing diversity and representation. It has a lot of work to do, but it's a start, and it still means a lot to a lot of people. But again, we just need to have faith in Julia Quinn and Shondaland and hope that they portray this love in the best light possible. And if you really, really hate the show and you think it's going to be horrible, then I have great news. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to do that to yourself.